Okay, here we are. Chicago's own Supernatural Occurrence Studies at the Lizzie Borden House, Fall River, Massachusetts. Just got done with a tour of the entire house, and we are lucky enough to be able to shortly sit down with our tour guide, Rick, and he's going to give us some inside info and some of his take, and also let us walk the house unhindered and record it, videotape it for our YouTube watchers. Chicago's own Supernatural Occurrence Studies on YouTube. So here we go, walking with Dave Black and Joe Erie.
Hey, where are we from again? What city are we from?
Way back up there. There we go. It's hard. It's a tight driveway, so trying to get the entire building here, it's difficult. Gotta do a little backbending maneuvers. Do I look silly walking down the street like this? There we go. Now we're coming around the front of the house.
The pear trees.
Yep. Borden's had a number of pear trees on the property. There we go. Try to keep my hat out of the way here. There it is in all its glory. Let's walk up to the front of the house. See these signs. There we go. Borden. The original door. Andrew J. Borden house, circa 1845. Just kind of a look around the town. Imagine what it looked like in 1845. Try to catch the other side of the house.
This is the original color of the house. It's kind of pastel color.
It's that Massachusetts kind of dark colors, it seems popular.
Jay, look, it's a freaking pear. Jay.
We've had enough
Jay,
of
look
Dave
at it. It's like a baby whale.
Black.
Jay.
Can't wait to
Jay.
leave him
look at
off
this.
someplace. Get back. There we go. Alright, that's the circumference of the house. Going back to the parking area. This is the barn where Lizzie was supposedly sitting, eating pears, while her father and stepmother were being murdered in the house. So this was a cool sign.
Oh, hey, Jay. Jay, they asked us to come in.
Okay. Video for YouTube. All right, loyal listeners, as promised, here we are. Jason Knight, Joe Erie, and Dave Black reporting live from the Lizzie Borden house in Fall River, Massachusetts. We just got done taking a tour with our tour guide here, Rick, who is kind enough to allow us personal time after the tour to be in the house, reporting from inside the house, from the room, the couch, matter of fact, where Mr. Borden was found murdered. So we're going to ask him some questions, maybe some off-the-record sort of stuff.
No problem.
So, thank you, first of all, for the opportunity.
My pleasure.
The listeners, this is also going to be on YouTube, Chicago's own Supernatural Occurrence Studies on YouTube, and once again, Jason Knight reporting for the SOS-RADIO Podcast. So, let's just jump right into it.
Right.
I would like to know a little bit about yourself, Rick. How long have you been doing this?
I've been doing it for the last 4 years. My wife started working here in 2008, so she's been here longer than me, and she got me into it, really. My very first experience at the house was, I was a non-believer, to be honest with you, and she'd been working for 3 years, and she told me stories about the house, and I said, what, are you kidding me? It's got a reputation of being haunted. Of course, every little noise you hear, you're going to think it's paranormal. It's probably nothing at all. It's probably more yourself than anything else. And she said, well, you don't know. Come spend the night with me. So we spent the night, and she brought a bunch of equipment from a friend of hers that does research and stuff, and she gave me a digital temperature gauge, and she said, just let me know if there's any fluctuation in any of the temperatures. We've gone through the entire house, trying to get EVPs, all kinds of stuff, nothing. 3 o'clock in the morning. We're sitting in this room here. I'm sitting in a chair. She's sitting in the other chair. It's right next to the radiator. And it's February now, so the heat's on in the house.
Right.
Base temperature in the entire house was 72 degrees. So she says, you know, nothing happening. We might as well go to bed. Get some sleep out of this anyway. I says, well, it's okay. But I knew she was disappointed a little bit. I said, listen, I'll prove to you there's nothing happening here. Like I know what I'm doing. So I stand up and I get the temperature gauge and I says, listen, I don't believe there are any spirits in the house. If there's at least one spirit in the house, then prove it to me. Make the temperature drop 10 degrees. And as soon as I said that, the temperature starts going down. Every second it was going down 1 degree.
Wow.
And I was, yeah, that's what I was saying. I said, this can't
What were
be
you
happening.
thinking at that point?
This can't be happening.
This isn't
I said,
real.
oh my God, this can't be right. I showed my wife, I said, look at it, it's going down. She said, see, I told you so. I said, well, I don't understand this. And I look back, and it's already down 60 degrees. It went down from 72 to 60 in 12 seconds. And I
Wow.
only asked for 10 degrees, so my mind's racing now. I'm thinking, oh my God, this thing's not going to stop. So I said, thank you very much. Right back up to 72. No cold air in the house. Between me and the radiator, there was like a column of cold air that had developed.
Right.
And that just dissipated. And I was just in shock.
Who do you think that was? What do you think that was?
I don't know. I don't want to know. But I'll tell you, I know there are two spirits in the house for sure, and that's Andrew and Abby. And,
The murdered, of course.
the ones that were murdered, yeah. And that's probably
father
why,
and
because of the way they
stepmother.
were murdered, you know.
Sure.
So, but there are some strange things that go on in the house periodically. And usually, to be honest with you, it happens after a paranormal group has been in the house and they've stirred up things.
Of course.
And usually we're left with the residual afterwards, like lights going on and off by themselves and things being moved around and stuff of that nature. So it's a very strange house. But I've gotten to the point where I'm comfortable here because we're just sharing space with them.
Right.
You know, and it's fine. The only thing I don't like is being touched, and I was touched on the 3rd floor.
Up in the attic, in the
area,
maid's
Bridget
room.
Sullivan's room.
Bridget Sullivan, correct.
Yeah, I happened to make a comment about her picture because she had a man to look about her in the picture, and I guess whoever was there didn't care for it, and they put their hand right on my back and they pushed me.
In the room,
I could
outside of the
feel
room?
that, right in the room.
In the room.
And I'm
Wow.
up against the bed. I'm giving a tour at night, and there are people there, you know, and I could feel the hand, and it just pushed me. And I didn't want to startle the guests, but I kept it to myself. But I said, oh my God. So I turned around and I said, listen, folks, she's much more attractive than what she appears.
Right,
in
and
this
you said
picture."
that today in
Yeah,
our
I
tour,
remember,
I said, yes,
just
I
to
always say
appease.
that now. Yeah, I always say that. Because after the tour, I went up there and I spoke to her picture, because I'm not sure if it was her or whatever, whoever it was, but I said, listen, I only did that for entertainment value. You know, I really respect you, and you know yourself, this is a terrible picture of you. So I will make sure from now on, I'll always say that you're much more attractive than you appear in this picture.
And you
That's
did.
what I've
Yeah,
been true
you
to my
did that
word
today.
ever since, yeah. So.
Interesting. How
I
about...
like my job.
Yeah. So how much time would you say you spend here in a week?
Well, this past week I've been here every single day. Usually it's only like 3 or 4 days. I'll do tours during the week, and it's usually just a few hours every week. But at night, when we do give night tours, I'm usually here from like 3:30 till almost 11 o'clock at night.
Wow.
And then once I leave, the guests pretty much have the run of the house on themselves. One of the owners stays. There's a little place above the barn in the back where they stay when they're overnight guests here. So, but we try to give them that unique experience of having the house to themselves.
Yeah, I can't imagine how that would be. Wow.
We have to put a sign up, and I don't know if you noticed the sign in the gift shop. We have a sign in the gift shop. No refund for early departures.
I did see that. Yeah. Have you ever?
We've had people leave.
So yeah. So you've had 2 experiences here over the past 4 years.
Correct.
What about people coming through here? What are you hearing from guests?
Well, we have a journal that we leave in the front hallway.
Oh, we're gonna have to make sure it's
And in
signed.
that journal, we have people sign it and actually put their experiences down, anything they have to say. And we have every journal from the very first day we opened on August the 4th, 1996.
As the bed and breakfast.
Yeah, and in the bookcase, we have all the journals from the book, and underneath there from all the different years. And there's some pretty interesting experiences some people have had over the years. To be honest with you, most times it's pretty quiet. But you know, you get those occasional days when things go crazy.
So could you think of one example of a guest experience?
Well, we had we have an old Ouija board here in the house.
Is that an original?
That's the original one.
Yeah.
William Fold is the inventor and manufacturer. On the back it says it right there. And I don't know if you were aware of this, but William Fold patented the Ouija board
Correct. Yeah.
in 1892. Same year the murder took place here in the house.
Oh, wow.
So it's kind of ironic that this board is in the house here. And
I'll get a
actually
shot
about
of that.
5 years ago it went missing from the house for about 3 weeks, and they had to assume that maybe one of the overnight guests took it, you know.
Wow.
Well, they got it back in a FedEx box. without a return address, and there was a note inside that said, "Please make it stop." Now, whether that's true or not, or is someone pranking us, I don't know.
You just gave me the
But
goosebumps.
yeah, I'll tell you, there's some strange things that go on here at the house. So it's a great adventure.
Wow.
See, when you talk about it, or just speak in general about it, or if there's people that have that can feel it, it knows, and if
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure. We've done sessions, and
Ouija board sessions?
No, I don't touch the Ouija board, no. But we've
Good,
done
smart man.
like different sessions of EVP sessions and stuff of that nature, and we've asked Andrew, about the tours. He likes the tours. He said that he likes my tours, so I don't know why.
No
I
kidding.
think because I don't talk bad about the man. I really kind of, especially with his business, he's such a good businessman. I mean,
Yeah, rich.
No matter what kind of guy he was a smart businessman, and he did his job really well. And his peers actually viewed him as a tough guy, but fair. He was fair in all of his dealings. So he had a good reputation as far as some of his business associates, not all of them.
Wow. Incredible. Well, let's talk about Lizzie. Guilty? Not guilty? I'm kind of just going straight for it there. What's your...
When at the very beginning, I thought she was pretty much guilty. But when you start looking at the different aspects of this case, and there are so many different facets to this case, on the surface you would say, oh, she had to have done it. But when you look at all the different things, and you wonder, maybe she didn't, And that's the mystery of it. I mean, I personally think it's either her, Emma,
Her
or
sister.
even John Morse. But it had to be someone who really, really, really hated Abby, because the way she was murdered, that's actually...
In 19 hits,
Excessive.
that's
I mean,
insane.
could have been just a crazy person too. I mean,
Could have been. There is a theory also about an illegitimate son, William Borden. There was nothing to indicate that he was an illegitimate son, but Andrew did have a nephew named William Borden, and he was a mental patient. And some of the strange things, Alma Brown wrote a book about his whole theory. That was his whole theory, that was the illegitimate son, William Borden, that committed the murders. And it's interesting because his theory, he talks about William Borden trying to extort $5,000
Whoa.
from Andrew, and 2 weeks before the murders, the girls sold that
The house for $5,000.
$5,000 back to their father. So you wonder,
What?
is there some kind of
Yeah,
connection
it's
there?
not-
That's what I mean. When you start looking at all different
I
aspects
never
of
read
things,
that. Yeah.
you really start wondering, maybe something else happened here, And that's the intriguing thing about this. I mean, it's an unsolved mystery. You get all kinds of theories.
I
and
wonder also
fascinating.
when you said upstairs about the maid, what she was saying on her deathbed, and then she came out of it, and she always kept that
Yeah.
secret.
Yeah.
I
the
I have an
thing-
interesting question for you
Okay.
about the maid. I actually just learned this a little bit ago, but supposedly there was a rumor that Lizzie might have been a lesbian in a relationship
Romantically
with
involved with the maid.
the maid, and that might have had something to do with the animosity with the family and the
You want
father.
to read a good book?
What's that?
You want to read a good book?
Sure.
Read a book called Lizzie by Evan Hunter.
Lizzie by Evan Hunter.
And half of it is fiction, and half of it is all fact. The fact portion of the book is the trial in New Bedford. The fiction part of it is his theory about that trip to Europe that she took 2 years before the murders.
Mhm.
His belief is that she was introduced to a different style of lifestyle in Europe. And his whole theory,
The
that's the very
alternative
same theory. She came back here, and she met a woman out there who told her, if you do have any kind of relationship, never have a relationship with any of your servants.
Wow.
And she came back, in the book she comes back and she doesn't have a relationship with Richard Sullivan.
But again, we
I'm
don't
gonna get
know
rid
if
of
that's
that at the end
fact
of
or
the book, though.
fiction, right? We don't know if that's fact or
Right,
fiction.
exactly.
It's just-
Exactly. We don't know what kind of lifestyle they had anyway. We don't know what their preference, what sexual preference was, to be honest with you.
Right.
So we just don't know.
Another thing I thought that was really interesting, I didn't realize, you mentioned on the tour that Jack the Ripper and the Borden
4
murders
years.
were just 4 years apart. Borden's being 4
Correct.
years after
Right.
the last Jack the Ripper murder.
Correct.
So, and when you think about the history of this type of subject, two people pop into your mind: Jack the Ripper, Lizzie Borden.
And you said
What a wonderful couple they would have made.
Right? Oh, imagine the kids.
I have a question. We know that she liked to read, right? So she was
Correct.
literate,
Yeah.
which wasn't always the case back then. Did she have any journals or diaries or anything like that that's documented?
There are letters and things that she wrote. The Historical Society has a lot of that information, and they're a good source of information. The Historical Society has a book that they came out with called Parallel Lives, which talks about Lizzie Borden and the city of Fall River and all that, and it's good, very insightful, and they have a lot of letters and things that she wrote over the years. But to me, actually, there's nothing to indicate in any of her letters or any of her writings that there was any abuse going on, or there was anything.
That was another thing, right?
Well,
It'd be very difficult to.
I keep going back to the sexual orientation thing, but you'd think even as a teenage girl she would have talk about crushes or a boy she liked,
Well,
or something to that effect.
They do have letters from a girl who she went to school with, who kind of indicate that she was kind of odd. But that was about it.
I'd say.
Anything else.
Like maybe asexual almost, like
Who knows? We don't know.
I've
Yeah,
known,
that's the
I've
feeling
known,
I got, that there was something going on with, her possibly being a lesbian, and especially at that time with the parents, and maybe they found out there could have been something in the house,
Well, there are always rumors, that
Yeah.
after the trial and all that, when they moved to Maple Grove, that the rumors were flying
That
after
she
Emma had
was,
left, that
yeah.
she was having an affair with Nance O'Neill. But there was nothing to indicate any of that. That's
Yeah.
the problem. I mean, there are all rumors and
Yeah.
innuendos, but there's no
and especially
proof of
back
anything.
then,
That's
This is
what makes it even more intriguing.
This
Yeah,
is one of the
so-
big problems we run into overall in discovering haunted locations, or
Yeah.
or I guess investigating places that are well known or rumored to be haunted, is a lot of times like this stuff just gets so blown out of proportion, and when we show up it's like,
Yeah.
there's not a whole lot going on really.
I know.
Mhm.
Guys, I wish I could continue this, but I got another tour to give, so
Okay.
I
Oh,
have to
sure.
cut it short.
Yeah.
No,
thank
I
you.
appreciate it.
But I appreciate you doing this, and then, anything to do about Lizzie getting the word out. People should know it's a fascinating house. You should come here, visit the house, at least take a
Absolutely.
tour. And to be in the house where all this happened, when you read about it and you study it a little bit, and then you're actually in the house where all this happened, you have to wonder, how can no one hear anything what's going on in this house?
Right.
Everything is in such close proximity.
And things creak and move. I mean,
And it's an old house. yeah.
right.
And
right.
another thing I wasn't expecting too is those photos, because that's,
Crime
that's
scene
at the
photos.
beginning of the Jack the Ripper was one of the first cases, right?
Right.
It was the first, I think, that
Where they used
actually
crime scene.
documented crime scene
Crime scene
photos,
yeah.
and that was 4 years
Lizzie
prior.
Borden was the second.
So that's I didn't
That's
expect
something
it.
we share with them. We're the second one, second
Mhm.
trial in the world to use crime scene photos in court. So that was
Yeah.
kind of interesting too.
One,
It was a pleasure.
Oh, say one final question.
Sure thing.
If Lizzie were here today, what do you think she would say, or the Bordens in general, about the phenomenon, about how so many people visit their house
I
every
think
year?
Lizzie would love the notoriety. She'd
Okay.
love it. She'd just, take it all in. She probably is right now. I mean, she probably is taking all
I
these
hope
things.
she is.
And Andrew and Abby, they may not be so pleased about it, but they're still here, and I think they still own the house. They think they do anyway, and they're part of us. So here they are.
Excellent.
Would it
Yeah,
be all right
thank
if
you.
we-
Thank you
if
so
we
much.
looked-
Welcome so much.
Would it
Thank
be okay
you.
if we looked at those journals for a few minutes?
Afraid
They go
not.
towards
The
the
next
end of
one's
the
gonna be
tour.
starting up pretty soon.
Yeah, and I have to go through.
Behind me.
Okay.
Take,
All right.
take my camera. What I'm gonna do is I'm
Are
gonna
you
look.
recording?
I'm gonna
Mhm.
look through these journals and take pictures of pages that have anything cool on them. There was one story in there.
But he
of-
said.
Well,
Okay.
if you guys are walking around anyway, there was one story in there about people that stayed here heard little kids giggling at them.
Okay, good.
Okay, well, here's the-
So here we go, listeners. We just had an excellent. Dave, I want to get a pic of that Ouija board.
I got my camera.
I want to get a picture of that Ouija board. Move your back. This is the Ouija board they were talking about right there. That was stolen and promptly returned with a note that said, "Please make it stop." We are in the parlor room where Mr. Borden was murdered. This isn't the exact couch, but it is the same type of couch. This is the parlor. Listeners on podcasts, go to Chicago's own Supernatural Occurrence Studies on YouTube for full footage of the Borden house. Walking into the main entry. Here we are in the front room. Borden house. Lots of antiques. Many of the antiques are original to the Borden house. It's important to note none of the furniture, most of the furniture is not original. The Borden sisters, Lizzie and Emma, stripped the house of most all furniture, but it has been done up to look like exact replica of how the house looked at the times of the murders. I'm going to come into the dining room. Into the dining room. Borden. One of the, I believe the father was actually laid out on a table in this room, not this table, but on a table in this room. So here is a look. Dining room. We have to make it quick. Oh, hello. We have to make this quick because there is another tour going on. Podcast listeners, I mean, definitely check out the video because this house is just so cool. Okay, going upstairs. Approximately 7th or 8th stair leading up. This is the angle at which the stepmother was seen, directly under that bed there. So from this vantage point, investigators saw the body of Lizzie's stepmother laying directly under that bed from this vantage point. As we go up, Joe, what was, oh my God, I'm drawing a blank. What was the stepmother's name?
I don't remember.
I got my notes right here. This is the
She was
room.
found right here. He's down there.
You want to reenact for us, Joe? So this is where, go ahead, get down. This is where she was found. Listeners, I'm pulling out my notes. I apologize. So much has gone on.
There's actually a picture right here too.
I'll get there. Father, obviously, Andrew Jackson Borden, and stepmother Abby. So this is exactly where Abby was found, with 19 axe blows to her head, right on the spot.
Back, right?
The back of her head and one in the middle of her back. And as Joe Erie mentioned, here are crime scene photos in the exact position she was laying. Here's another one. What's interesting in this one is you could actually see the police camera right there, actually taking shots of the crime scene. And there's Miss Borden right there, with 18 blows to the head by an axe, one to the middle of the back. Hello. Moving on. So this is where Abby was found, the stepmother. We were already in the parlor where Andrew Borden was found. Bathroom that bed and breakfast guests have access to. Now we're coming into Lizzie Borden's room. This is her bedroom. I'm just gonna let that sink in. This is where Lizzie Borden slept.
Yeah.
Some of the books that she actually touched, read, are in this bookcase there in cellophane. One of them is still in print, you can find on Amazon, called When Ghost Meets Ghost. So those are actually books that she touched, she read. This awesome Lizzie Borden Living Dead doll right there. But right up above the right shoulder of the Living Dead doll, you see LAB. Those are Lizzie's handwritten initials. She wrote that with her own handwriting, of course. That sounded stupid to say, but yes, that is her handwriting. Off to the side, this is Emma's room, correct? So Lizzie and Emma, actually, to get into Emma's room, to get into her room, Emma would have to actually come in through the doorway here, walk through Lizzie's room. Hey Lizzie, hi Emma. Kill anybody today? No. And here is Emma's room. Much like it was time of the Borden murders. Sorry, Joe. A picture of dress of the time. It's incredible. It's great. You know, the Lizzie Borden Bed and Breakfast is available to rent. Obviously, you could rent the entire house for a night for $1,500. So that's something we're going to look at doing. But yeah, it could fit up to 20 people in this house. Last night, It was actually full to capacity. We couldn't get in. This is Andrew and Abby's room. The bed back in the day was actually blocking the window, so the room is a little bit backwards, but otherwise it's much the same. Original cast iron heater.
I had an idea too of why they might have put it there. I mean, they said probably to watch the door, but also block out the sun.
Block out the sun, yeah. Now it's interesting to note there is a very famous photograph that was taken by a tour member here at the Borden house of this exact window from the outside down in the parking lot, which shows clearly a woman's face. I mean, with head cover, like a bonnet almost, possibly hair, like we're seeing here. Could be hair, could be bonnet, but it's pretty distinct. It's pretty incredible photo. So that was taken from that window. This room here, as I remember, was originally an office for Andrew and a dressing room for Abby. Now it's of course been turned into a bedroom for bed and breakfast guests. Very nice, very quaint, very historic. Listeners, if you ever find yourself in the Fall River, Massachusetts, definitely come here and stay at the Borden house. Where's the attic stairs? I don't remember where they... Oh,
This way.
there we go.
A lot of people in those books are reporting the same type of activity.
All right, we'll talk about that in a moment.
Flickering lights
Make sure you shut the door.
and being grabbed by things.
Here we are, we're going upstairs to the maid's room, right? Maggie. This is Maggie's room. This is the room where Rick, the tour guide, said he was actually shoved in the back of the chest.
This is a picture of the maid?
In his back, not his chest, from his back. And that is the picture of Maggie the maid. And he had made a joke how she looked manly, and then suddenly felt a hard shove on his back. So this is Maggie the maid's room. Was she a suspect? Did she do it? No one really knows. Of course, in the back here, we have guest bedrooms. These were not talked about on the tour, so apparently not significant to the crime, but just other rooms in the Borden house that can be rented out. Hey Dave, some of the guest books were written that guests were hearing children laughing and playing at night, and there just happens to be a toy chest here with some creepy toys. Is that a Dracula man? It sure is. A little toy Dracula man.
That is cool.
So this is the upstairs. Gonna head back. Come on, guys. Gonna head back downstairs. Dave, come on.
Where is he?
I don't want him thinking
He's
we're
down here? Oh.
headed back downstairs. They were gracious enough to let us do this, even while tours are going on. So I don't want to seem suspicious that we're separated or something. Headed just quickly down into the basement. There we go. Oh, actually, this is the first floor. This is the kitchen. We're actually not allowed to go down into the basement, but I'm just going to give you a look at the original foundation of the house. There you go. So I'm going to respect their wishes and not go down. Well, yeah, I should respect their wishes. The kitchen, I mean, check out this stove. This stove is incredible. That guy's back out on just a huge old Glenwood cast iron stove that's still in use.
No, they're starting the tour, so let's go.
Okay. So that is
Everybody's
the Borden.
coming out now.
That is the Borden house. Tour is about to come in, and I'll
When
just.
they walk around and we'll come out. Just so.
How do we get out? I don't remember how we get out. Just gonna keep it running. Just gonna keep it running. Okay, let's go. Dave, let me get down. Joe, let me just peek the camera. We're gonna go in the basement. This is what the listeners would say to do. So, just a quick peek. No. Someone's down here. Okay, we did it. So that's the basement, listeners. A lot of housekeeping going on down there. Excuse me, Dave. Original doors. Oh, original glass
Oh,
knobs.
hi, sir. We just took a look really quick.
There you now.
Original glass knobs. Hi.
Hi. What's
We're
going on?
recording for the SOS-RADIO Podcast.
Oh,
We just interviewed Rick, and Rick let us graciously walk through the house.
did he now? Okay.
He
That's
sure
fine.
did.
If Rick says so, that's fine with me.
We're gonna
Alright.
promote you to thousands of listeners.
I told you. Nice meeting you guys.
Thanks, we'll see you later.
All right, bye.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right,
very much.
Oh,
let's,
you're very welcome.
let's
Hope
head
you
out.
enjoy it.
That was John Stewart.
There she is.
Rick, we're just about to, we're
You
heading
got a
out.
tour?
Okay. No, yeah, I do. Those cards. my
Sneaking
staff
behind.
Just keep smudges off on them.
Oh,
I'm gonna have to write them in.
Excuse me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
Thank
We're
you
leaving.
again.
Thank you. Thank you, Lizzie.
Guys, give your information on the website and all that to Sue, so she can give it.
Okay, cool.
To Sue, excellent. Oh, Sue, gotcha. Sue, right? Okay,
Here's his card.
thank
What are you
you.
guys doing?
So we're actually recording for the SOS-RADIO Podcast. We're a paranormal podcast out of Chicago. We drove about 1,100 miles to come and see this and report to our listeners. And we took the tour, and Rick was great. And I asked him if we could interview him post-tour, and he allowed us to. And I asked if we could walk through the house. You know, with the tour, it was packed. So it was kind of hard to get photos and things for our website. So I asked him if I could video record through the house, and he said as long as we're respectful, which of course we are, we could be allowed to do so. So we just did that.
Oh, you did it? You finished?
Yeah, we were just heading out the door. Actually, they said they saw a tour coming in, so we're going to stand off to the side and let them come in, and we were going to sneak out.
Did you have any stories or anything?
Anything you want to
Oh,
share
I
with our
always have
podcast?
experiences in
You
this house. So
mind
can-
sharing some really quick?
Could I ask your name, please?
Sue Vickery.
Sue Vickery. And how long have you worked here? Oh,
On
thank
and
you for the
off for
card.
years.
For years?
Yeah.
Well,
Since Liam bought the place, yeah, I don't know.
that was like 1998
Yeah, it was in the 90s. So.
or something like that. Yeah.
Like
So
11, 12 years ago, I
1996.
think.
What was
Yeah.
it before a bed and
It was a
breakfast?
private family home. The McGinn family owned the house.
Oh wow,
Yeah, for like 40, 50 years.
no kidding.
Yeah.
Okay, so big question. You're here all the time doing tours. What have you experienced?
Oh, I get touched all the time. I get talked to in my ear. I get made to feel ill in a room, and if I just walk out, I feel better.
Any particular rooms that
Dining
happens to you
room?
in?
Dining room?
Dining room, not so much. More
That's what I was-
sitting
Is that where
room,
you were feeling it?
I was reading
the
in the
sitting room,
journals. a lot.
and where Abby was killed in that room, I'm constantly being touched.
So in Abby's room, listeners, we took a walk up there and Joe.
Where she was killed, not her
Yeah.
bedroom. But actually,
Where
her
she was
bedroom
killed.
very
Oh, got
active
it.
Also,
Really?
I've been pinched in that room. I plugged in my cell phone once to charge it. Shut both doors. I came downstairs. I was talking to the guest, and I said, about 20 minutes later, must be charged. I ran back upstairs. Hey, my cell phone was on the floor over here. The charger was on the floor over there.
She didn't like using her energy.
No. I got a couple of pictures because I investigate the house all the time myself.
Oh wow. We'll leave our
I
website
actually gave
information
these,
for you.
pictures, and author has already put these in her book. So
Excellent.
I'll show you.
Now, while you're pulling those up, what were some of the things that have been whispered to you?
Oh, get out, leave.
Really?
And I use dowsing rods a lot. I love them because they talk to me all the time with dowsing rods. So I asked where the ghost was standing up in the attic. And there was two spirits there. One was Andrew and one was actually my grandmother there to protect me. So I said, oh, where are you standing? The rods pointed to it. So I had my niece take a picture of me right at that moment.
Was
with
this
the
the
digital.
orbs?
Those are the two orbs right where
Yeah.
they said they were standing.
Oh wow. Let me see if I could.
Hmm.
Could I get that or into that camera? It's really hard to see, but I see it clear as day.
And
There
then
you are.
the second one was taken in the basement. Now, have you been down there? The
Yeah.
ceilings are all black. Yeah, I caught this mist coming over the top
Oh,
of the
yeah.
doorway
Oh, look at
with
that.
two orbs right in it.
Now that's a good shot.
Would you
Yeah.
mind if we looked around the basement, or
We were told
we just want to sneak?
I
the-
poked my
the
camera
overhead
around the
and-
corner and we came right back up when you saw us.
Really quick, I can just show you one thing down there.
Oh,
But
that's
just be
great.
careful, okay? Don't fall down.
Oh, listeners, here we go. Here we go, down into the basement with Lizzie Borden Bed and Breakfast tour guide. Oh. Where'd you guys go? Okay. So obviously this is the original foundation.
It is.
To
The
the house.
walls. This is the original wash basin also.
Oh wow.
Get a picture of that with your flash on it. There's a phenomenon in the back wall, but you gotta
Joe,
get
you
the whole
got it?
back wall in there.
You get a picture?
Yeah. gotcha.
Original wash basin.
Put your flash on. See what happens. Now look at your picture. Look at the back wall. Mr. Borden's face shows up every time. I asked
See
like
that?
Oh my
mediums
god.
about it. They
Wait,
told me
wait,
it's a
Joe, put
psychic
that up to the
impression.
GoPro.
That's crazy.
Put that picture up to the GoPro.
Alright, let me take another one. Let me just get it. See.
I got a whole sentence recorded in the sitting room.
And what
I was
in
trying
the
to get
sitting
Andrew
room?
to talk. This room where Andrew was killed.
Okay.
I was
Yeah,
trying to
see
get
it?
him to talk for. That's cool. It came out good.
Hold on, Joe.
I was trying to get him to talk for our overnight guests. So I had a voice box going, and I said, Andrew, if you want me to leave, just.
Okay, we're recording on YouTube. All right, Joe is here. He's showing us the picture that he took of the wash basin of Andrew Borden's, supposedly Andrew Borden's psychic impressionist face on the wall of that original wash basin. But
I don't know if you could see it.
yeah,
We're
glare
gonna have to put
through
it on the
killing
site.
it. It'll be on the website, yeah. Just look for Borden House photos and video under photos and video on the SOS-RADIO Podcast. But yeah, you can't. Too much glare. Anyway, figured we'd try. All right, signing out.